feel like it's not gonna get no views at all. Wait, it's like a independent production type of thing, right? Scorpio. Uh,
You've been busy. I see you have prior engagements, but if you may, lend me your ear.
Make it quick, Reagan.
I am not here to waste your time. And all other
listen to monologue, nigga. I thought I was gonna be fighting and shit. You know what I really want to see? I want to see Mortal Kombat, like, the making of Mortal Kombat would be fire. I like seeing shit like that. I know Mortal Kombat was created by a Dominican. The making. That's how they made the video. What should I put? History. History of Mortal Kombat? Think that would sound better? I don't know about it. I don't know about it. I want to know a little bit more. Why not? I don't know what you're talking about. Is it 2 or 11? I've been confused. Is it 2 or 11? It's a phone about it. It's crazy. 6 years ago, it's crazy.
The Mortal Kombat series has long been a staple of the video game community.
Get over here!
A household name synonymous with bloody, violent fun. However, behind the silly costumes and over-the-top one-liners lies a surprising underdog story. But what moves did it make to stand out from the other fighters? I'm Dave Klein, and this is the history of Mortal Kombat. Though Mortal Kombat is a titan of the fighting game genre nowadays, its beginnings were significantly more humble and more ninja-y.
And remember, Mortal Kombat is totally true to life.
According to Daniel Pesina, the actor who originally portrayed Johnny Cage, the game was initially meant to focus on a group of historical Chinese ninjas, the Lin Kuei.
This is sort of the very first concept of the story. This guy here eventually became Shang Tsung.
John Tobias, then a new employee at Midway Games, took the idea to his boss, Ed Boon. However, the initial pitch wasn't exactly a success. Boon liked the idea of a fighting game, but didn't think the specific concept would work. They wound up canceling the original idea, instead choosing to pursue a mainstream game with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Pesina was reportedly furious, saying, "I gave a bunch of great kung fu ideas, and they were now going to give them all to Jean-Claude Van Damme." Van Damme, of course, declined to do the game, but his influence lived on in Johnny Cage, whose general style bore a strong resemblance to the action star. Though the Van Damme plan fell through, the game was far from KO'd. Tobias repitched the original idea, and Midway, seeing the success Capcom had found with Street Fighter II: The World Warrior, decided it might be worth a shot. In 1991, the project's development team included just 4 people: Boon, the sole programmer, Tobias, one of the artists, John Vogel, the other artist, and Dan Forden, the sound designer. The group opted to use real actors to portray the fighters, an unusual choice for the time, and certainly not one without its challenges. According to Pesina, the team experimented with every martial art move for about 3 days, 8 hours a day, filming everything to be later used in the actual game. The production was bare bones. The team was sure this would be a small game and cut corners where they could to stay within budget. They filmed everything over the course of 5 days in a space that was essentially a hallway, and during that time, finalized thousands of details, including finishing moves, catchphrases, and even weapons. Many iconic choices came down to decisions made by the individual actors. Liz Malecki, a fitness instructor who'd been tapped to portray Sonya Blade, opted for army green tights to align with Sonya's Special Forces background. When all was said and done, Mortal Kombat stood out from its contemporaries, and not just because of its costuming choices. Unlike many other fighting games at the time, which ended every match with a knocked-out competitor, Mortal Kombat gave players the opportunity to, well, finish it. Mortal Kombat's signature finishing moves were complex, violent, and gleefully gory, a spectacle for arcade-goers everywhere to laugh and wince over. This was thanks to Boon, who was tired of the cleanliness of other fighting games and, in a burst of bloody brilliance, insisted that players should have a way to finish their opponent off.
I remember John saying, let's have Sub-Zero grab the guy's head and pull out and show the spine going, just like in Predator.
That's crazy.
From there, the team was a whirlwind of gory ingenuity, pitching increasingly over-the-top moves for every character. With everything finalized, it was time for Mortal Kombat to face its toughest opponent yet, the arcade. In 1992, the team planted their prototype machine in a Chicago arcade. Tobias hung around to keep an eye on things. In a blog post, he said, "Our prototype machine collected game data that we could access through its diagnostics, but nothing could recreate the players' reactions to the game like being there to watch it firsthand. We take notes on things that we thought needed fixing based on how the players reacted to certain events. We tested the game for countless hours while it was under development at our offices, but nothing could put it through its paces like on-site testing, and no other player feedback could be more genuine. At first, it seemed like no one would play the game. The machine sat untouched for hours, ignored by what few patrons the arcade had. This wasn't totally unexpected. The team was testing their machine during the NBA Finals in Chicago in 1992, when Michael Jordan was reigning supreme. Thank you very much. The arcade manager almost closed early to avoid the inevitable riots, but a few teens entered at the last second and made their way over to the Mortal Kombat machine. It wasn't long before the crowd around the machine had grown to be 4 or 5 people deep. According to Tobias, the manager at that point began guarding the front door, and it flipped the arcade's open sign to closed. However, he'd admit a patron if they were there to play Mortal Kombat. It was a sign of things to come. The game's popularity was immediate and explosive. It soon became clear that the initial 200 cabinet run simply wasn't enough. Fans wanted more gore, more Easter eggs, and more Mortal Kombat. So Midway started looking at putting MK in people's homes. Graduating from the cabinets to the couch wasn't exactly a tough call. Per Boone, the arcade market was drying up, on top of which other games, like Street Fighter II, had already found success in the SNES. Midway knew there was very little financial risk in giving Mortal Kombat the home console treatment as well, and brought Mortal Kombat's signature violence to living rooms all over the country. Well, kind of. Nintendo, at the time, upheld a strict anti-gore policy, so in lieu of blood, SNES MK characters gray sweat, resulting in Mortal Kombat's Sega Genesis port outselling the Super Nintendo version 5-1. At the same time that Mortal Kombat was making a bloody splash for the gaming community, a moral panic was beginning to swell around violence in video games.
What you're about to see are scenes from two of the most violent new video games. First, we have Mortal Kombat.
Senator Joe Lieberman led the charge against MK, leading to a highly publicized congressional hearing in 1993. Though Lieberman admitted that banning violent video games outright would be a First Amendment violation, it was clear he was out for non-pixelated blood. In response to the hearings, the gaming industry formed the Self-Regulatory Entertainment Software Rating Board, aka the ESRB, so that gamers everywhere would finally have an easy way to figure out that Mortal Kombat and Night Trap weren't meant for kids. Though the first Mortal Kombat received generally mixed reviews from critics, it was clear the game was a hit. The home version, published by Acclaim, had sold over 6 million copies. However, the team wasn't necessarily a sequel.
I ain't gonna lie, it's good info, but I was like months old, to be honest. So I ain't really know about this shit. That's crazy.
Mode right away, and in fact, were thinking about making a Star Wars game, until their general manager stepped in and talked some sense into everyone. Mortal Kombat 2 was darker and funnier than its predecessor, with tightened mechanics, alternate lighthearted fatalities, and brand new character animations. Of course, this series was ahead of its time in a lot of different ways, some not so positive. Echoing current crash-happy AAA releases, the first version of MK2 was effectively a public beta test, riddled with bugs and visibly unfinished. It took 3 painful revisions before the game was truly done, with a finalized version that had, fewer bugs, releasing in January 1994. In spite of the development issues, MK2 became a commercial success, and a cultural phenomenon. It received overwhelmingly positive reviews from critics, and it was the highest-grossing arcade game of the year. In the first week of its home release, it made over $50 million, which, according to Acclaim, was the largest introduction of a video game in history. It even outsold the opening weekend box offices of major movies at the time like Forrest Gump, True Lies, and The Lion King. Midway knew they needed to make a third Mortal Kombat, so in 1995, Mortal Kombat 3 hit the arcades and brought some brand new moves. This was the game that introduced chain combos to the series, animalities, a run button, which allowed players to dash toward their opponent, and combat codes, which players could enter before matches to unlock additional features like health handicaps and secret character battles. Mortal Kombat 3 had notably different visuals from its predecessors, thanks to a more muted color palette, heavily digitized character sprites, and backgrounds created using pre-rendered 3D graphics. Additionally, though the previous 2 games had an aesthetic that leaned heavily on East Asian influences, MK3 went Western by way of Westworld. Seriously, there are so many robots in this game. After a massive marketing campaign, MK3 landed in North American arcades in April 1995. It wasn't long before it was ported to the Genesis, the SNES, and the newest console wars combatant, the PlayStation. Thanks to a deal between Sony and Midway, the PlayStation version was, according to Boone, basically indistinguishable from the arcade version, making that sweet 32-bit violence all the more accessible to gamers everywhere. Versions soon released for a slew of other systems, including the Sega Saturn, the Game Gear, and the Game Boy. However, the Game Boy version, in spite of being the first and only M-rated Game Boy title, was missing huge chunks of the game, including 6 of the original 15 fighters. Though MK3 did well on a commercial level, critics had plenty of complaints. Many took issue with the inclusion of less interesting characters in lieu of fan faves like Katana and Scorpion. This problem was roundly resolved with the release of Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, a standalone update to MK3 with an altered gameplay system and 100% more Katana Thank God. A second and final update, 1996's Mortal Kombat trilogy, was released shortly after that, re-establishing even more beloved characters and stages, as well as introducing the new aggressor bar and brutality mechanic. The game sold over 1 million copies, and Midway finally felt able to move on to the next installment of the series.
Scorpion wins.
Mortal Kombat 4 was released in North American arcades in 1997 and brought with it a host of innovations from the series as a whole. It was the first game in the Mortal Kombat series to use 3D graphics, all the better to see the brand new in-game weapons with. Characters could each equip a special object which they could then swing or throw at their opponents. This was also the game that saw the introduction of sidestepping, forcing players to rethink their movements in the arena, or the ice pit, or the Shaolin Temple. In spite of the graphical innovations, the gameplay in MK4 was intended to be largely similar to its predecessors, minus some of the more comical aspects of the other titles.
That's fire. Then what happened?
These were either entirely cut from the game, or were censored in various ways to keep the rating. Notably, the game featured a much heavier emphasis on its story mode, with cinematic cutscenes that would directly lead into the actual fights. Many of the new staples of the 3D games were dropped, including fighting styles and alternate weapons. Additionally, the game toned down in its 3D fighting, once again only allowing characters to sidestep in the Z-axis. Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe released in 2008 to moderately positive reception. The new story mode was praised by critics in particular, and the game sold over 1.9 million units. After dipping their toes into versus games, a major shakeup would occur, not only in the development of future games, but behind the scenes. Midway Games Chicago filed for bankruptcy and was subsequently
$140 million.
purchased by Warner Bros. Interactive. What this meant was that for the first time ever, a Mortal Kombat game wouldn't be developed by Midway Games. Instead, the new Mortal Kombat 9, which would come to be called simply Mortal Kombat, would be developed by the brand new NetherRealm Studios. Now, while all of that sounds fairly dramatic, at the end of the day, NetherRealm Studios was pretty much just a rebranded Midway Games. WB kept Midway Chicago, rebranded it WB Games Chicago, and then later NetherRealm Studios. What that means is, Mortal Kombat co-creator Ed Boon would still be in charge and would go on to direct a new iteration of Mortal Kombat. Aside from Mortal Kombat 1, Mortal Kombat 9 is probably the most impactful game in the series. While the previous games had experimented with 3D and never quite found a format that stuck, similar to the recently released Street Fighter 4, Mortal Kombat 9 went back to its 2D fighting roots. This game would be 2.5D with all of the character models rendered in 3 dimensions, but with the actual fighting plane being 2-dimensional. Also similar to Street Fighter 4, which had brought Street Fighter back to its 2D roots with both its gameplay and character roster, the game focused on including characters specifically from the extremely popular Mortal Kombat's 1 to 3. Despite all the similarities in approach to gameplay, a 2.5D presentation, and character roster choices, according to Ed Boon, the team had already decided on this direction before Street Fighter 4's 2008 release. But Street Fighter 4's incredible success helped inform them that they had made the right choice in Mortal Kombat 9's direction. Beyond the retro-inspired feel of Mortal Kombat 9, the team wanted an emphasis on story and wanted to improve on the story mode they'd introduced with Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe. They also felt having a strong story mode would help appeal to casual players who would want a single-player mode. Mortal Kombat 9 also, once again, put a huge emphasis and spotlight on the series' famous fatalities. With the up graphical engine, these fatalities were made far more gruesome than ever before.
Sub-Zero wins. Fatality!
Additionally, there were brand new X-ray moves added to the game, which, when performed properly, would zoom in on the
really did his homework. He really did though.
case combat, updated netcode for online play, and story mode were all praised. However, the game's requirement to be always online in order to progress was viewed negatively. While Mortal Kombat and Mortal Kombat X had both sold incredibly well, Mortal Kombat 11 was on another level. By 2022, Mortal Kombat 11 has sold over 15 million copies. All of that brings us to today. Mortal Kombat's 12th entry into their mainline franchise is once again rebooting the entire series and will be dubbed Mortal Kombat 1. The game takes place in an alternate universe created by Liu Kang, where all of the characters have new and different relationships with each other than previously established in the older titles. Notably, the game features a new cameo fighting system, where players will choose from a separate roster of characters to act as their cameo fighter. Players can then call upon these cameo fighters to perform additional attacks on their opponents, creating all new possibilities for combos and ways to counter. Mortal Kombat 1 is set to release on September 19, 2023. That wraps up the very long...
Good shit. Good shit. Good shit. Good shit. Good shit. Good shit. It's 10:08. It's 10:06. 10:06. 10:06. It's 10:06. Good shit. Good shit. Good shit. Good shit. I play some video game. It's saying play some video game. Should I play some Mortal Kombat? Mortal Kombat. I think Mortal Kombat. That's where it's at. It's an update available. Bitch, I don't want to update. And my little nephew playing this police simulator. I'm gonna start playing video games that I've never played before. That's gonna be my next thing. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna grab a game. I'm gonna use that game. I'm gonna finish that game. I'm not lying. I'm not gonna finish the game, but I'm gonna see how the game goes. See what I'm saying? Jump back in. This is a Mortal Kombat. Yeah. See how good I do. Might do bad, might do good, might do bad, might do good, might do bad, might do good. I want to play an online match. If I get my ass beat, I'm leaving the stream.
Customize, fight, local, online.
If a nigga beat my butt, I'm leaving.
Combat League, ranked set. Casual versus. Casual, AI, own. Casual, private, one, private, casual versus.
Look for somebody else. I need it. I need it. Accept that shit. Damn, they got 43 wins. He got a better chance of winning than me.
Noob Cybot. Scorpion.
Yeah, good idea. If I lose, I'm not that.
Round one, fight. Round two, fight. just a scratch. Silent wins.
Good job. Good job. Good job.